Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dave Roberts. I am the Director of Capital Projects and Campus Development here at Woodland Pond, and today is May 8th, and this is my weekly talk on everything to do with the expansion here at Woodland Pond. I want to start off by just saying it's National Safety Week this week, and so what that means is that Wilson, our construction manager, has a dedicated safety officer who regularly is on site, and anything that he notices that he's concerned about, he brings to the attention of the team, and specifically to the site super, so that's attended to, and make sure that everything's safe for all the workers and all the residents on site. So that's good. What it means for the week is that they tend to highlight certain issues that they see around the country and other job sites. So on Wednesday, there was what they call a stand down, a safety stand down. And what that means is that they get all the workers on the site to stop, and they, raise maybe a couple of specific issues, maybe not that they see on our site, but they notice elsewhere, and bring it to people's attention in terms of safety. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I've got a couple of photos of that to show you later. Tomorrow and Sunday, I am the MOD. I'm the manager on duty, and we're taking advantage of that by having me show residents around. As you probably know, we have tours at 10:30, 12:30, and 2 tomorrow, and at 12:30 on Sunday. I believe they're full, but there is a waiting list. And so I would urge you, if you're interested in this in the future, if you missed out this time, put your name down on the waiting list, because we'll keep doing them to satisfy demand. I do ask, if you have your name down and you're unable to get there, let us know, let concierge know, because then they can fill that place, just as we, because we do have a waiting list. It'd be nice to, have that full. We'll meet at concierge and try and be there on time so that we can show you everything that's going on. Just a note, I see that tomorrow morning it's going to be raining, and even though we'll be inside, there are aspects of the outdoors that come indoors when you're under construction, and where we are bringing roofs together, so there may be some dripping and a little bit of wetness. So just keep that in mind if that's a concern for you. Might think about what footwear you wear as we go through. So I know that some of you will have been aware about the work we've been doing on fire panel, just because we had some false alarms. These are, it's complicated doing work on fire panels, and we certainly apologize for any disruptions, especially ones that happen in the nighttime. And some of those things were to do with the way that our electricians, they have to take down some of the systems while we're in construction, especially in new areas or existing areas where we're doing work, and sometimes they're not wired in the temporary wiring is not done completely correctly. It's really hard to anticipate, but we feel like this work is behind us. Tom's confident that we have figured out all the problems, and we shouldn't have any more of those false alarms moving forward. But that's a big improvement for us too. Obviously with all the work that we're doing, we're upgrading our fire panels and making sure that everything's not just code, but beyond code for everybody's safety. Just next week we're actually starting the work at the back of Dedricks. So what that means is that there'll be a little bit of work happening near the hostess station. So on Monday, you'll see some preliminary moving of furniture, and we're going to move the hostess station back a little bit, just to create some space there. but I just wanted to give you a heads up. We do, I know that that's an important gathering space before dining, so we'll do as much as possible to keep some seating there, but we're also doing overhead work in that area, and so we'll be putting up a temporary wall in the next week or so in order to protect residents from the work that's happening overhead. The corridor by marketing, they're just doing the finishing touches there. There's some tiling that's going down there, so that'll be opened up. I think it was meant to open up to at the end of today. We may do some extra cleaning there through the weekend, and but it will be certainly available for use by residents on Monday. And then before we start to talk about the next couple of weeks, I will remind you that we're in front of the ZBA for the satellite on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And attached to this talk will be a link to the Village of New Paltz YouTube station where you can tune in and watch that. I think there's only 2 or 3 things on the agenda. I believe we're the second item on the agenda, but that's a follow-up from a couple of months ago when we were in front of the ZBA, and that's our resubmission of our site plan for the satellite property. So if you're interested, certainly tune in. I will give a recap next week just to keep you all informed as to how progress is going there. Now, when we look at the next couple of weeks, I'm sure that you've seen that there is a lot going on everywhere. And our tour will show you what's happening on the inside, obviously. But in the next couple of weeks in admin, we'll continue with the sheathing and the roof shingles and the flat roof in there. As I say, when it rained earlier in the week, it was pretty wet in the admin where they joined the new building to the existing building. That's to be anticipated. You can only put up so much temporary protection. It doesn't damage anything. It just means that, it's a pretty rough site in there, but it was pretty wet underfoot in that area. And then in yoga, we'll actually continue with the flooring in yoga. You may see the start of that in the tour tomorrow, but I'm excited to see that go down. That's a sports floor in the, what we call the gym and yoga area. And then in the pack, of course, there's a lot of exterior framing happening in the pack, and also the installation of the heavy timber. So that gets delivered on the 11th, on Monday, 9, 10, 11, yep. And then on Tuesday, you'll actually see the crane will be on site and putting the heavy timber in place. So plenty to watch on Tuesday. And I don't think the weather will be an issue there, but I'll keep you tuned on that. So then I'm just looking for the week after next. Oh yeah, so that's heavy timber next week. We're pretty much in the swimming pool. We determined we were going to be plastering this weekend. We determined to delay that just in order to get all the dust out of there and totally finish up the tiling, because immediately after the plastering, they had to fill the pool with water, and that would seem to be a little complicated because we're going to end up with a lot of dust in the water. Wouldn't have been, the end of the world, but we're trying to avoid that. So, so the plastering is a couple of weeks out yet, but they're finishing up tiling in there, and as I say, that plaster will be towards the end of the work in there. Marketing, really the final testing in the marketing area, and the bank and mail room, you'll see, is pretty much finished. We're just waiting for the locks in the bank area. I'm going to share my screen so that you can have a look at some progress photos now. There we go. Okay, you should see my screen now. And I think I shared this with you last week, but it's really nice to see the Wellness Edition really take shape here with the sheeting on the outside. Of course, that's admin. And now this is another view. I haven't shared this view before of the salon. You can see this lovely curved soffit there. And the flooring is actually down there. Of course, as soon as it goes down, only took a day to put that down. But of course, they protect it immediately afterwards to make sure that the rest of the work is not damaged. And what you'll see next in here is they'll put the ceiling grid in there for the acoustic tile. Of course, acoustic tile is just that. It's very, very good for acoustics, but this is going to be a really lovely space. And tomorrow in the walkthrough, I can share some of the finishes that are in place there. Here we are in the gym or yoga. It's also a pickleball court. You see that nice high ceiling. Almost all the ceiling tile is in there, which means that all the work above the ceiling is done in there. And they actually, now all this stuff here is cleared out of there because they've prepped the subfloor. The flooring for the pickleball court, it's a resilient flooring. It's got a little bit of cushion to it. You can only have a 1/4 inch change in level within a 10-foot radius. So that's why they put a little bit of leveling mix in there. There was only one spot, I think, that required that. But that's going down now, and then they're actually waiting for that to dry before they start the resilient flooring. This is the coffer ceiling in the marketing discovery room. The flooring is down there, just the final touches on the ceiling before they start to bring in some of the millwork there and finish up the lighting. Here's the Performing Arts Centre, the framing. You can see they've got plastic there to protect. So there's a fair bit of work in removing that mansard roof, which they've done. And of course, they have to get the plastic there to make sure that the water doesn't come inside during the construction period. Tiling in the bathrooms, that is not the finished floor, that's just protection down on the floor there. I had to take a second look at that to make sure. This has not changed much in the last week, but that's because the mill worker is working on other things, and bank is not a critical part, but they're doing that desk there. This is the stand down with the safety officer that I mentioned. You can see the crew there having their lunch and listening to the safety instructions from the safety officer. You know, safety is really, really important. And as I say, Wilson has a committed safety officer who's on site regularly inspecting the procedures, means and methods to make sure that everything is done safe. This is the pool tile. I think you're going to really like this. This accent tile really shimmers in the light, and the swimming pool looks really terrific. It's really coming together there. And now this is some moisture board, which is being laid in preparation for a feature bluestone wall which runs down the wellness corridor to the swimming pool. Is just on the left here. So that'll go in, I think next week. We're looking at that work being done. Just some tiling in the pool area with an access panel. And then this is some tile work that's going down right now. So this is the marketing discovery room on your left, and it's going down in that corridor. So once again, this is the pack, and a lot of detail work where the old building meets the new, and making sure that the structure is correct there, and that also everything's protected so the water doesn't come inside in the meantime. This is the library window on the right-hand side, and new pack wall on the left. Oh, another shot of the from the other angle of the salon. So the completion for the salon is slated for the middle of July. So we're looking forward to that. Another one of the tile in the corridors, and that's it. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing you if you're joining us for tours tomorrow, groups of 10. I think you'll find it really interesting. And otherwise, I hope you have a great weekend and happy Mother's Day.